Well, all right. Hello, everyone. This is Ejikemen here with Realty Belize. So this topic about finding creative financing solutions for Canadians to invest in Belize has been a really popular topic, and we have two incredible Canadian experts with us today. But before I get started, let me just go over a few housekeeping items and let folks continue to trickle in and get logged in. I know they're sometimes asking for updates for Zoom, so we'll give folks just a few minutes here before we dive into all the good details. So real quick, we are recording this session. We'll be uploading this to YouTube afterwards, so that way you can review it or send it to friends and family that might also find this information useful. We'll be answering a lot of our questions at the end, so go ahead and find that Q&A section right there on the control panel. You can type your questions in there as we go along the presentation, and we'll dive into those at the end. And if you're listening to this after the live session, go ahead and just jot down this email address: info@lunarealtybelize.com, and that way you can send your questions into there and we'll be able to get those over to you and all the answers. All right, well, let's get started. So as I mentioned, my name is Ejikemen. I'm currently located here in Belize on the island Ambergris Caye. I made my way down to Belize first time 6 years ago on vacation, and I fell in love that very first visit. I see it happen all the time. Folks come in and they get bit by that Belize bug, and then the next question is, how do I make an investment there? How do I move there? How do I, make this my permanent home for some folks? So I have called Belize home for now 3 years, and I'm happy to share, all of my experience with you. But we won't get into all that today. We'll save it for another day. Today, we're just going to dive right in. And I want to real quick just go over our agenda. So we're going to be diving into this session, which we anticipate will take about 45 minutes. And then we're going to hear from Trevor and Wayne about how to finance property to be able to invest in Belize, introduce you to a great currency conversion company, and they'll be able to give you the best rates. And then we'll review some of the hot real estate opportunities that are kind of on the market right now. Things do change rapidly. So again, if you're tuning in at a later date and you see something you're interested in, reach out and we can go over those details. And then at the very end, we'll answer your questions pertaining to financing, currency conversion, and then real estate. So with that, let me go ahead and pass the baton over to our certified mortgage experts, Trevor Isaac and Wayne Marks from Integrity Tree Financial, based in Canada.
Thank you, Katie, so much. And thank you, everybody, for being online with us tonight. We're pretty excited to go over some of the things that we want to talk about. A bit about myself is I've been in the mortgage and real estate space for over 20 years. Particularly on the mortgage side for about 15 years. I've partnered with Wayne as well, and we're with Integrity Tree Financial. And we're here to basically go over some of the options that you may have as a Canadian in terms of investing into Belize. Now, ourselves, we actually came down last April. We got bit by the same bug that Katie got bit by, and we ended up purchasing as well. Okay, so we've got a little bit of information in terms of how to go about that process, how to invest, and how we can maybe at some point help you save on your currency exchange. Wayne?
Excellent. Thanks, Trevor. Yes, so I'm Wayne Marks. I'm a mortgage broker with Integrity Tree Financial, and I've been in the mortgage business for over 20 years. I've actually been employed by TD Canada Trust for over 20 years, and then in the mortgage business for another 8 years. So my background is always been in and around finance and mortgages. And just like Trevor mentioned earlier, we did get the Belize bug, and have been down there and invested ourselves and utilized some of the information that we're about to share with you in our own purchases. So without further ado, we'll get started with the presentation on financing. So I'm just going to share my screen here and we'll get started. All right, so how to finance your purchase in Belize from Canada. So there are a few different options that we're going to cover today. We're going to cover 3 of them. The first one being an equity takeout or refinancing your current home. The next one being a reverse mortgage. And the third one being a fraction reverse mortgage. So we'll cover those 3 right now. So the first one being an equity takeout. That's where you would refinance or borrow against your home. So as long as you're a homeowner, the standard calculation for borrowing is 80% of your property value, less your current outstanding mortgage balance, would give you the available equity that you'll have access to. So a quick example here would be if your home value is $800,000, multiplied by 80% would give you $640. less your current mortgage balance. Let's assume it's $300,000. That would give you access potentially to $340,000 of equity. That equity, we would, Trevor or I would be able to process a credit application. We would do a credit check, and it would of course be subject to an appraisal. So those factors will play a role in how much you could qualify for. And at the end of the day, there are a couple different products that we could review with you, whether it's a line of credit for $340,000 or consolidating both the $340,000 and $300,000 into one mortgage for $640,000. So that's just one option that we can utilize for you. The next one is reverse mortgage, and Trevor's going to talk a bit about that one.
Thanks for that. Okay, so reverse mortgage, it's not a new product. Many of us have heard about it over the years. It's been around since about 1961, but it differs from the products that Wayne was discussing, which would be a HELOC. Click.
There we go.
Okay. So what is a reverse mortgage? In a nutshell, it's a mortgage that allows you to take out equity from your home with absolutely no monthly payment obligations. The bank, contrary to belief, the bank does not own your home, and they can't force you to sell it simply because you're not obligated to make any monthly payments. So there's nothing to pay. Minimum age requirement on a standard reverse mortgage is 55 years and up. And the loan to value cannot exceed 55% of your total property value. And of course, this is subject to an appraisal to determine what the actual property value is. It's subject to a credit application, credit check, and appraisal, as I just mentioned. However, it's not the same sort of full credit application that you would get on a standard HELOC mortgage, because again, you're not obligated to show income, and you're not obligated to have, exemplary beacon scores. Okay. Again, it's primarily based on your age and primarily based on the equity within your actual home. And I'm going to go through a quick example. So we're going to pretend that the home value is $1,250,000. And again, in the GTA, that's not a hard number to reach. And times 55% of the actual value of the home, or the equity within the home, would give you access to about $687,500 as a max. Now, this scenario is based on a male of 60 and a female of 58 years of age. And just keep in mind that the older you are, the more you can access. And if you're a female as opposed to a male, females live longer, so they can access much more than males can. So we're going to assume the current balance is $200,000. So in this scenario, the equity that you could actually have access to would range from $353,500 to $402,500. It's all tax-free because, again, it is the equity within your existing home. And again, this assumes that the current mortgage is paid in full. So in this particular scenario, any lender will not allow you to have a current first mortgage. So what would happen is, if you had access to the $402,500, they would pay out the first, leaving $202,500. And that's the available equity you would have. If you didn't have a mortgage, obviously, you would be entitled to the entire amount.
Right. So it's not.
Now, a fraction mortgage is a reverse mortgage with a twist, okay? It's subject to the same sort of criteria. You have to have the existing equity and so on. Click. No monthly payments, no obligations. But the difference here is that the equity that you can access caps out at 41% of the total value of the home. The big twist here is that there is no age minimum requirement. The only thing you require is you must own property, obviously. And if you have the equity within your home, it's not 55 years of age. It's whatever age that may be, based on the equity and based on an appraisal to determine what that equity is. Banks, again, do not own your home. They cannot force you to sell, as, again, in this same scenario, there are no payments, so you're never going to be in arrears. It's all paid out in full once you decide to sell the home or you unfortunately pass away. And we're going to talk now about our foreign exchange companionship with OFX.
Thanks, Trevor. So Trevor and I both have experienced purchasing in Belize, and one of the things that we came across was having to send US dollars. So if you've been watching the exchange rate recently, you've seen that our dollar is not worth as much, of course, and has gone down in value. So therefore costing you a lot more to buy US dollars. So this kind of issue prompted us to form a partnership with a foreign exchange provider called OFX. And so I'll tell you a bit about who OFX is. They are a $150 billion publicly traded fintech company with 8 offices globally. They offer industry-leading cross-border payment solutions while offering white glove service. They offer currency transactions in 9 different currencies. So definitely a lot of options there for exchange, primarily, of course, in US and Canadian. 24/7 customer service. And they have the industry's most competitive rates based on our research anyway. That's what we've come across and why we formed the partnership. They are also the official exchange provider of the NHL. So this is a very big company dealing in a lot of volume and a company that can be trusted. So Trevor's going to go over some of the advantages of having the partnership, or actually having an account under the partnership.
Okay, now some of you may have already heard of OFX. Some of you may have your own accounts, but basically we are providing a link that will give you access to the group rate. Now, the premium exchange rates versus individual accounts, again, they differ. The group rate obviously is much better and much more advantageous to you than you going out and getting your individual account. We had OFX compare their rates with Wise and major banks to ensure better pricing 100% of the time. Banks, again, can't really compete with online brokerages. So the biggest competitor to OFX would be Wise. And in every scenario that we did, OFX beat them. You can save on your build costs because you're probably going to be paying in USD. So with the conversion, that'll help. It'll eliminate costly wire transfers. Website and app are extremely easy to use. And if you're not really, I guess, tech savvy, once you set everything up, it's just click, and it's fairly easy. You set up your recipients once and they're saved. And anytime you need to do a transfer, you just click on your recipient and you send the money through. No fees to open the account, and the process is simple and easy. And no fees to transfer or receive funds, as long as it's $10,000 and up in Canadian. And you're saving roughly $100 per 50,000 exchanged. So it adds up. If you're sending for a bill, you're sending several times, it quickly adds up. And that could be your flight from Belize City over to San Pedro. Think of Costco. Basically, that's all I really have to say. Think of Costco and just think of volume discounts. That's what you're getting with the partnership.
All right, so thanks, Trevor. So what we did this morning was to provide a real-time example to show you the cost benefit, because at the end of the day, both Trevor and I can talk, but the numbers are the numbers. So we did a comparison with Wise this morning versus our partnership rate, and we did 3 different scenarios. The first one being at $15,000, you're looking at about a $35 savings with the partnership. And then your true savings, obviously, the higher you go and the more funds that you're exchanging, you're going to save more. So at $50,000, it was $100 savings. And at $100,000, you're saving close to $200. And again, that was as of this morning through our, through our partnership rates. Okay, so as Trevor said, the more you do this, or the more you have to do this, the savings will start to add up. And definitely the partnership ability that we have, or that we're getting that premium discount, you're definitely going to benefit, and the numbers are right there. So with that, I'm going to, and actually I've got the address there for the website at the top, but we'll definitely get that out to you, and it will be in the comments of the YouTube video. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here and pass it back over to Katie to tell us about the properties available in Ambergris Caye.
All right, well, thank you so much. I definitely learned a ton there, so that was very useful. I will also be able to include that OFX link in the webinar link together in an email that I send out to everybody who signed up for this presentation today. So I know we kind of jumped through pretty quick. It's trying to make it short and sweet for everybody today. It's the end of the day. So we'll make sure that all the details are in one email and sent over to everybody. Okay, so now we're just going to switch gears into real estate. As I was saying, I'm located here in Ambergris Caye. But real quick, so Belize is a really small country. For those of you who have looked at it on the map, it's kind of the size of Massachusetts. It's the second smallest country in Central America, but by far it is the smallest population-wise. There's about 400,000 people that live here. There are a handful of different places that we could talk about, but today we really just, again, want to keep it short and sweet. So we're going to focus on where most of people come when they come to visit on vacation. So about 74% of the tourists that come to the country land on Ambergris Caye. So Ambergris Caye parallels the reef, and it's really well known for its diving. As you can imagine, the reef and all those beautiful views with the coral and the fish. It's also really known for fishing, fly fishing, snorkeling, and then of course the friendly atmosphere. The people of Belize really do make it what it is. So when you're kind of thinking about investing in property or relocation or lifestyle, most people do gravitate towards Ambergris Caye for the reasons I listed, but also because there's a vibrant community here. There's a lot of regular activities, and then just the stunning beauty really captures you. So folks are purchasing the land for a variety of reasons, from appreciation through land banking, that buy and hold, or looking for cash flow through rental property. Some folks were even just interested in being a snowbird or living here full time. So I'm going to highlight 6 opportunities today that kind of cover a variety of those reasons of why people are buying here. But note, there are many more opportunities, and just reach out to us if you see something that captures your interest, or if you generally just have questions about the real estate. So again, you can send an email to info@lunarealtybelize.com. And one quick note, the real estate is priced in US dollars, but for this presentation, you will note on the slides that there's the Canadian dollar conversion for you. And the numbers for that conversion were from Google conversion as of March 29th, 2023. So let me jump over here. So if you're someone who's looking to land bank, so that buy and hold method, you want to find the best values. This is one of the best values I found on the island right now. So this is a beachfront land, and beachfront prices are increasing quickly here, especially when you want to compare it to land that doesn't have any water views. So this area is called Fisherman's Cove. It's at Brosselet Caye, and this sits just a little bit north of Secret Beach, actually northwest of Secret Beach area. So this is a prime area for fly fishing. Folks always fly fish up there right now. I would recommend this as an opportunity to buy, hold, and then once the development moves north from Secret Beach, you can unload this when the numbers make sense for you. Property taxes here in Belize are also very minimal. So expect on a property of this size to pay about maybe $45 US a year to maintain that ownership. So really small, increasing, fee that you had to pay each year until you're ready to offload the property. So this is opportunity number 1. This is best for land banking. We'll jump over to number 2 here. And so when you're looking for something that's like an entry price opportunity in a community to have, either for yourself, or this is an opportunity where you can put it in a rental program. So this comprehensive studio cottage has an open floor plan. There offers a full kitchen, a large king size bed, owner lockout. So that way, if you want to store your linens or things that you just don't want your renters to have access to keep it nice, then you do have the opportunity to lock it up in your owner lockout. So this is located within the newest canal front community called Aruna Villas. This is going to be about a 15-minute drive from Secret Beach, or a 5-minute boat ride across to the heart of town. So it's really conveniently located. This, including furniture, can be yours for under 250 Canadian dollars. So this is opportunity number 2. It's the best deal under 275K. We're going to jump over to our opportunity number 3. So this is going to be primarily a goal like for an investment property, and you don't want to break the bank. So this will let you invest in Best Western, which is a branded hotel. This is a full title ownership property, turnkey. It's already in the Best Western rental program. So it's one of the best units on the property, in my opinion, but you really do have this oversized veranda that has these incredible sunset views looking on the bay side of the island. And in this particular unit, they did upgrade the kitchen. So you have the stainless steel appliances, the granite countertops, beautiful mahogany hardwood cabinets, and it's located close to town. So a location like this, you or your renter wouldn't necessarily even need to rent a golf cart. You are 10-minute walk on the beach to the center of town, or if you were on your golf cart, it would be 5-minute ride to the center of town. So convenient and great for investors. So this is opportunity number 3. It's the best value for a branded hotel. And this is going to be an incredible opportunity for any of you that are fishermen or plan on owning a boat. So this is a really unique opportunity. I haven't seen a property like this. In this property, you do have a villa. Each of the villas will have a boat slip underneath and then a carport as well. And when I say carport, yes, it will fit a full-size car, not just the golf carts that we drive here on the island. So if you are somebody who wanted to live here full time, bring a small car over to the island, you would have ample parking, and you can put a lift for the boat as well. So you don't have to leave your boat in the port. If you wanted to leave on vacation or leave to go back home, you can lift your boat, have somebody come and take care of the property for you, and it's all right there. The other great thing about this property is it's only 5 minutes north of the bridge. So it's on a paved road. So you have a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath, and you're looking at around $550 US, so 747 Canadian dollars. So this is really going to be an incredible opportunity if you're also looking for developer financing. That's not typical that we find that here on the island. So villa number 3, they are offering a 30-year developer financing. Reach out to me if you have questions about that. I can share more details. So this is opportunity number 4, best home for boaters and fishermen. So we're going to jump into one of my favorite properties. I just went and viewed this. This is an incredible opportunity for a single family home on the beach. And this one's going to be, in my opinion, the best value property in the market right now for beachfront. This is a brand new single family home. They just finished construction in 2022. There have been no renters in the home. So this home is complete with 3 bedrooms, 3 baths. There's a huge rooftop veranda on the 3rd floor, a pool overlooking the Caribbean, and there's a caretaker casita. So this would be ideal for somebody who wanted to Airbnb. You don't have to be here on site. You have a caretaker that lives there, can handle the guests and a flip over turnaround with any maintenance or housekeeping that you might need. But it'd also be great if you want it for personal usage. So say you want to live here half of the year, you really do need somebody to maintain your property for you the other half of the year. So the current caretaker on site goes into the house once a week, dusts everything, opens the house up, lets it air out, and just really keeps it in pristine condition. So this is an opportunity number 5. It's going to be the best value for a beachfront single family home. And then we'll jump into our last opportunity here. This one's great for developers. So this is for someone who's looking to maybe even develop here in Belize. This property is pretty unique in that it's located in one of the best neighborhoods. There's beach and road access. You're close to town, and their property itself, the full size is 6 acres. That's huge for being so close to town. So on site, there's already a fully functioning restaurant. There's 3 rental casitas and an expansive beach. So you could already start with the business and then expand to whatever you envision for the rest of the property. So this is opportunity number 6, best for developers. All right. Well, I know that was kind of a whirlwind of information. We really did just intend to give you a snippet of what is out there today. And as mentioned, if you saw anything that interests you, reach out to us at info@lunarealtybelize.com and we'll fill you in. You can also see the contact information there, and we'll send over the OFX link as well. One more thing, if you are new to real estate market here, feel free to reach out and request a copy of our top 12 things to know before buying real estate in Belize. This is a great resource guide, and we really truly do know that an educated buyer is the best buyer. And with that, I'm going to invite Trevor and Wayne back on the stage here. And so we're going to open the floor for some questions and we'll dig right in. I do know that some of the questions we'll probably have to reach out to folks personally, because, when you're talking about mortgages, we'll have to, have that kind of be confidential, but we are open to any questions right now about property or with the mortgages. Let me see.
You know what, Katie, I have a question. Maybe and maybe some people might have a similar one, but the properties that you listed, None of them had financing, correct? So
Um,
there was no seller financing. The price was the price you'd have to send the US, correct?
Except for one of them, that Mangrove Bay, it's, the developer financing is available.
Oh, right. The one for the boaters.
Yes,
Okay.
yep, so that one, it's just a unique opportunity. Sorry, I just have it on not on my full screen, but I can jump back. So with that opportunity, the developer did decide to do a 30-year financing term. So there is villa number 1 and number 2 are currently under construction. Villa number 3 is the next one to be sold, and that is the only one that they're currently offering a 30-year term for. It's pretty unique. I haven't seen anything like it on the island, so I can definitely share details.
Okay. So the reason why I asked is that I think that ties into the OFX. So, when you are looking for property, if you don't have access to the full amount, and the seller is offering financing and requiring a 25 to 30% down payment, that's where your OFX account is going to come in, where you need to send that chunk of change to get that down payment in there. So, and of course, if you do have the access to the funds to buy in cash, then, OFX is going to be your best bet. But for that initial draw, if you're just looking to land bank, like you said earlier, where the amount is a little bit lower, you can also use your OFX account to do that. And it's just a matter of inputting the recipient's information.
That's incredible. So today we've gone over some unique opportunities for being able to finance, but then also that conversion rate. So that was pretty incredible information. I want to make sure I can share that with so many clients I can already think of that will benefit from this.
I do see a question in there about Placencia.
Any information on purchasing in Placencia. So I can definitely send that information over to you, Amoy. I made a little note here. Like I said, today we were kind of just focused on Ambergris Caye because it's definitely the most popular destination. Placencia does have some beautiful homes as well. Belize, as we all know that have been here, it's a beautiful sunny location. So lots of opportunities for you. So I'll send that over to you.
Well, I'm taking up the bike. Right, I'm not playing so Tuesday, Saturday, but if I got a bad day.
We'll wait and see if anybody else has any other questions. I know we are at the end of the day for a lot of folks that are wrapping up with their work day. So I have a feeling that a lot of folks are going to be listening to this afterwards. Again, this is a recorded session. So if you're listening to this afterwards, we've already made those little notes that the conversion rate will be changing and then the properties might not be available, but there are plenty of other opportunities. We're kind of just touching base on a lot of things today. And again, when you have those questions about mortgages or financing as a Canadian, we have the information right here on the screen for Trevor Isaac and Wayne Marks. They will be the go-to experts for the financing portion. Okay.
No, it seems like you're correct. It seems like a long day for most people. So we're here. Ask the questions.
That's where we get
Don't
the
be
most.
shy.
Okay, so I did talk to a couple folks. I think I have a question. So I talked to a couple of folks that have already purchased here in Belize. 2 of the folks have purchased land, and now they're looking for ways to be able to finance the build. Is that something that do you use it the same way, or does it have to be a home and lot together?
No, it can be either or. It can be either or.
Okay, that's
Well, I think, are you asking, Katie, if we can use the Belize property as collateral to finance, or
I guess maybe just explain how that might work. So the 2
Sure.
clients I have already purchased the home site, they have the land. Now they have to go out and find their own contractor, but they need to be able to finance the actual build of the home.
Okay, so what we've found so far is that right now we can help you finance a property in Canada. So right now that's what we're licensed to do, and that's what we can do. So if you own your own home or even own an investment property in Canada, we can register a lien or put a mortgage on that property, and you can turn around and use those funds to help with a build. We are in the process of trying to find lenders that will finance construction. A little harder from Canada, but we are in the process of searching out those resources to provide that option, because it definitely seems like there is a need. A lot of clients that I'm sure you've already come across, Trevor and I have come across, where they've purchased the land, want to build, and now need those funds. And so they might be able to get, 25 or 30% of the way on the construction costs, but don't have the balance. And so there's definitely a need. I know in Belize, you can't get the financing that way from a bank down there. It's very difficult. And even if you can get it, it's very expensive. So that is something that Trevor and I are working on, and hopefully we can have a solution sooner versus later.
That's incredible. Like I was saying before, Trevor and Wayne are here to go over and find some, interesting ways to be able to finance your property here. It looks like Darren had a question. What is the cost approximately to build? Darren, that's going to vary quite a bit depending on the location. So I know a lot of folks when they're coming down to Belize and they want to even compare price and square footage, or the cost for building, it really does vary depending on the location of the country. On an island, things are going to be more expensive. We do have to ship everything over on a barge. Also just, where the tourism traffic is already and what's available and the resources that are available in those areas. So I can definitely take down this information and I'll reach out to you so we can kind of hone in on what part of the country interests you the most. And that again is where that research comes in. It's so important to do your research and kind of know what area you're looking for. But as we like to say, you don't know what you don't know. So that guide I had mentioned about the 12 things to know before investing in Belize is a good starting point. We also have another list where it kind of goes through each of the regions and each of the districts in Belize. Let's see, we have another question coming in from Sandra. As a builder in Hopkins, the price per square footage is 125 to 300 US dollars. So I would have to rely on you guys to do that conversion, 125 US dollars to Canadian. But thank you for the information, Sandra.
It looks like Darren was wanting to know the approximate, if you were to build on that first property, I guess the land banking, if you were to build there. So I would probably say, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Katie, but based on that location, I would assume that the build costs will be higher because it's a little harder to get material to that location. So like you said, it's a land banking opportunity. So you're not looking to build tomorrow because there isn't the infrastructure there, et cetera. But if you were to land bank and, park it for a year or two, et cetera, then, there may be a road there, or there may be more access to the land. And then your build costs may come down a little bit further because there's opportunity to get materials there. Is that a fair answer?
100% correct. Couldn't have said it better myself. But yeah, it truly is a land banking opportunity. If you were to build there right now, it would be very expensive because you'd have to bring everything in by boat. And so once they continue to build Secret Beach further north, that is when you could even start building yourself because there will be access via road, or that's when you could sell when those numbers really make sense for you and you can reap the benefits and that return on your investment. Mm-hmm. Great question.
Now, I have a question, Katie, regarding the land banking, because it's not in a development scenario such as maybe Mahogany Bay. There is no time restriction on when you want to build, right? You can just wait and hang on to it as long as you want and build whenever it is that you want, right?
Oh, correct. And even if your neighbor starts to develop, there's no requirement. So when you're purchasing that piece of land, you own the title to it and there's no restrictions on building.
Right. And then the land banking, of course, doesn't mean that you actually have to build. You can just sit on it, and in 2 or 3 years, depending on the development that comes into the area, the infrastructure that goes in there, maybe you want to move on from there. So,
yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. With no restrictions. But we do see, I have quite a few clients that do a lot of land banking and have for years. Some folks have been, land banking for about 10 years and they just hold on to it. Maybe they'll never do anything with it, pass it on to their kids. And some folks have, been able to offload that when the numbers made sense and then reinvest in the property. Again, investment goals sometimes change, but it's really nice to get in at the early point, which is we have a lot of opportunity like that in Belize right now. Belize is really at a sweet spot. We are not at a saturated market right now. It's one of those markets where the cash flow is already here with the tourism, and you're still going to see appreciation on your property.
Mm-hmm. And you know what, Katie, actually, you touched upon something that I think was key for both Trevor and I when we decided to purchase on the island, and that was the owning the title. So not a lot of people realize that when you do buy here, you own it. You own it outright. You're not negotiating with somebody else to get ownership, or, if you want to sell it or whatever it may be, you have control of that title. And it's very similar to Canada. When you own your home, you can do what you want with it, whether you want to sell it on your own terms, et cetera. You're not negotiating with the government to do anything with that property, or even the community that you're buying in.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And another benefit is English is the official language. So when you're doing your paperwork, you don't have to worry about translating that. Everything is in English. So lots of benefits to coming down here. You don't have to be a resident or a citizen to own property. As you guys both know, you own property here. You can be a foreigner and own your property outright, which is a pretty incredible opportunity in Central America. Yes. All right, let's see if we had any more questions come in. Well, Darren said he understood, and thank you. So Darren, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us today and asking those questions. It really was great to have folks participate and let everybody hear these questions and answers. So I don't want to take up too much time. Do you, Trevor or Wayne, have anything else you want to add here at the end?
Other than, again, thank you for having us. I think this is a very beneficial information session. Not everybody is familiar with borrowing and having access to funds, and maybe wanting to do something in Belize, but again, not sure on how to get the money there. And hopefully we provided that information to people, and they now have an opportunity or a way to do so. Both Trevor and I have been in the business for a very long time, and we also mentioned that we've bought down there, so we've gone through the process. We understand. We've done foreign exchange. We've sent money to contractors. We've sent money to developers. It's a very open process, very, very trusting. I know when you're trying to buy something or do something this far away from Canada down to Belize, there's a lot of trust and maybe anxiety issues that some may have. But hopefully with Trevor and us and I here to help alleviate some of that. If anyone has any questions, wants to speak with us one-on-one to go through that, we're both open and available to cover anything that anyone may want to talk about.
That's incredible. No, I definitely will be reaching out to you guys. I know I learned a lot. And so that is really useful whenever I can add a tool to my toolbox to be able to share with clients. Because like you said, it can be nerve-wracking coming down here, even on vacation for your first time. Where do I go? What do I see? There's so much, to take in. And so Darren just mentioned that he's actually going to be here next month. So I'm here on the island. Anybody who does want to come and visit, I'm here. I'm happy to show you around. And again, we can always reach out to Trevor and Wayne and do a little Zoom meeting if you're here in person and we have those questions that pop up, or we can, do that virtually anytime.
And at the end of this recording, it will be sent out to everyone who participated, correct? There's a question here from Sophia. And yes. So we'll be sending that out, correct?
Yep. Yeah, Sophia, I will be sending this to everybody who signed up for the webinar, and I'm also going to include that link for the OFX so that folks can just click on it, make it really easy. So everything will be in one email coming out to everybody. We'll also be uploading this webinar to YouTube. So that way, if you have friends or family that this is going to be useful information for them, then it's really easy for them to access as well. But we are all here to answer questions. I know Trevor, Wayne, you've been incredible at answering questions for Rachel and I, and you're always available. So it's really easy for folks to get in touch.
Perfect.
Great.
All right. And with that, I think we're going to end here. I don't see other questions come in, but again, if you have questions that pop up, which they often do, info@lunarealtybelize.com. Just send those questions and we're happy to answer them. All right, everybody, will have an incredible evening.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Yes, thank you, everybody.
And reach out if you have any questions.
Okay, bye.
All right.